All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Thor. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, man. Having a great day. We had an awesome trading day yesterday in the room, so no complaints there. Had ourselves a nice little bit of a squeeze in the market yesterday, which everyone was pretty stoked about. We had some fun news out there. One thing that I'm really kind of laughing about is I heard that Berkshire Hathaway scooped up like a couple million shares of Oxy, which is really funny because we were just talking yesterday. Or I think it was pre-market show yesterday. The other was that all of these energy sector stocks that were really really low. This looked like a really good spot for some of these big dogs to start buying up some of these shares. And sure enough, look what we've got going on little old Oxy. So anyway, that's a good time. So we had ourselves a nice bounce in the market yesterday. So things are good. But Friday, or as my son likes to say, Friday. So we're gonna hopefully close this thing down and have a good one. How about you, man? How's the family? How was your day yesterday?
Uh, Trading day was good. Families, it's okay. My wife is now sick, so it's just coming
Oh
around.
man,
Yeah, it hasn't been fun, man.
passing
Has
it.
I feel like the banks are going through a stressful week, and I'm going through a stress test at the home front. But other than that, man, things are well, man. Can't complain. Can't
Dude, when
complain.
kids bring colds home, man, that there is nothing more potent than I don't know what how those kids get
Yeah.
super
Eh,
colds, but man, they are incredibly powerful. Well,
yeah.
bless your wife's heart, man. Our
Yeah.
love and wishes
Yeah.
with her. Hopefully, she feels better soon.
Thank you, man. No worries at all. I appreciate that. Guys, let's get into it. We have, man, a lot going on this week with the banking sector and everything else. Just a whole bunch of stuff happening. And we're seeing some of the stuff that actually I noticed yesterday too, man, talking about things ripping. If you look at the Qs, they've been on fire as well. And we've seen many of our stocks like, AMD, another a bang up day yesterday. Tesla, it's funny, Tesla's kind of taking a back seat lately. They haven't been as great, but AMD, Nvidia, Microsoft, right? Watching Microsoft yesterday as well. I mean, it's just a bunch of tech companies just taking off nicely here. We're seeing an incredible rip. So that's been fun to watch. I know everything is banks, 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 but man, these tickers are doing their thing. So hopefully we're taking advantage of a lot of that this week. With that said, our gappers list, currently we have a couple of things in the green. Looks like Bitcoin is doing some stuff here because I see Marat Riot and Coin also in here this morning. Then we got a couple on here that also look well. How about Baidu yesterday too? I had that on my secondary list, and that also got down and took off. I saw towards the upside, so very nice there. And speaking of banks, the only three in my gap down list today are our First National,
There they are.
Pac West, and Western Alliance, which are all banks here this morning, down quite significantly. So very interesting stuff taking place here in the whole banking area. Um, Quick look on some of the stuff we had yesterday. I had three on my main list, and again, just continue with the strength we've seen on some of these tech type companies. Look at Meta taking off nicely yesterday. They have had an incredible run, a slight increase in volume, but that increase in volume is treating them very well. So that is nice there. Tesla, I don't know about you, man, but Tesla's been a little tougher to trade lately at the market open, at least.
Well, so for luckily for me, I've just been trading the market because the market's been in play. So yesterday, we in the chat room we managed to buy the bottom before we started squeezing, and we had ourselves a really nice all day rally. Most of us playing either futures or ETFs as that rally occurred. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Tesla, our fun stock that's been performing so well for us lately is kind of just found a spot that it seems to be pretty happy with, and its candle
Yeah,
ranges, if you look at the daily, have really started to kind of narrow a bit.
yeah,
So although our average trading range on Tesla is normally maybe something like $10, our average trading range right now on Tesla is maybe about $5 or $6, so it's not really moving as much. But if you have the patience to wait for it to like get all the way to the edge, you can still get some clean moves on them. But right now, the market's in play. and different sectors that Tesla's not really associated with. So it's just not really in kind of our old favorite meme stock. It just really doesn't have a lot of attention right now, which is, I'm probably sure it feels lonely.
It sure does. Um, so yeah, guys, let's get into it. Happy St. Patrick's Day as well. That's today. So for those
Yeah,
celebrating,
happy St. Patty's.
you know,
I think my camera might be frozen, but if you
it
can
is.
see I'm wearing a green shirt. It's actually a Jaguars St. Patty's shirt, so you can't
Yeah,
pinch me.
yeah, I see that. I see
So
that. um, so yeah, guys,
yeah, at
let's
least
get
it
to it.
froze on a good picture. That's true. Normally when it freezes and my mouth is open.
Yeah, it's not usually and the cameras usually never try to make you look good when they freeze, but you're pretty good there, my friend. All right, excellent, guys. Let's get to our gap list this morning and see what we have going on both up and down today. I'm going to go ahead and remove some of the stuff we have here on our list from yesterday. Control A, Control X takes care of that. And oh, Dan, is it happy triple witching too? Man, see, this is the stuff
Ooh.
I would have picked up if Jared would do Fridays, right? Jared would have covered that right away. One of his first things
Yeah,
he would have done, but
un-
no engineering the markets on
unbelievable.
Fridays. But yeah, let's look at what we got going on here. So here's Mara. So Bitcoin doing some stuff there. Again, I kind of been staying away from these, and rightfully so. If you look at Mara's market open, there's not a whole lot here that will interest me for the way I trade, right? So that's why I kind of been staying away from this. Same thing with Riot. This was yesterday's action. Just not seeing a whole lot there. Coin, on the other hand, is the only one that if I would watch one, it would be Coin. I think they tend to be the better trader. And after the first hour or two, they had a really nice breakout here. And compare Coin to like a Mara, right? If you look at Mara here, compared to Coin looks so much better, and they tend to get the better volume. I do like today, Thor, that they're above this what seems to be an area of resistance, right? You got a couple of days here where that has been a struggle. Was that 69 or so? So I do like that today. Maybe that can
Yeah,
get going
absolutely.
this morning.
I mean, coin carry is kind of a neutral analyst recommendation, but there
Yeah,
is, like, people are starting to talk about, these stocks and, kind of their positioning. They're holding VWAP, they're holding value areas, and people are thinking maybe they're worth betting on. So I don't know if, people are getting it. That being said, its order book right now looks slightly bullish, even though it's been selling a bit. It's had a nice, so it'll be
yeah,
interesting to see how this one plays because it is getting pretty near a range area where it kind of tried to break out before and then carried a pretty solid rejection. But if it can go again, maybe we get going on this thing. It could make it to 80, 83, $84 pretty easily and still be in range.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that. I sorry, Ivan. Yeah, you saying Mara? I prefer Coin instead of Mara for me. But again, I think Mara is okay. I think they're in play today. You're seeing some kind of movements here, but for me, I think Coin will be the one. Yeah, Mara's pre-market action does look nicer. Looking how clean it is this morning. But typically Coin is the one that trades a little bit better. Today could be the difference maker with Mara. 2 million shares. Do they have anything going on their own today? I didn't pull the individual tickers because I don't trade them as much, so I'm not really that interested in them. But look
So
at this volume.
Myra is in a basically like an article better short squeeze stock comparison, and
Okay.
Myra made it onto that list of stocks that are potentially
Yeah,
available for
yeah.
a strong short squeeze. So I don't I I mean, I don't know if the short float's really that high.
I'm
So
showing
I don't
35 on Trade
I mean, I
Ideas,
guess that's
and
pretty high.
yeah, so I don't know how accurate that is. It should be pretty accurate, but yeah, that would make sense. That 35 is pretty significant. Um,
Let me double check on Fin to see if that matches up. But if that, so, I think people are starting to, you can think the Wall Street bets kind of concept that was really big like a year and a half ago, where they were targeting squeeze stocks, and basically they would look for a high short float, and
yeah,
then they would try and buy really heavy to push the price up. And once the price, Finviz has it at 37 and a half. So
yeah,
so yeah, it's running a
that's
really
interesting.
high
Yeah,
short float. So that's probably what's getting it some extra attention right now. They may be trying to pop it.
Yeah, not sure why Riot and Coin will follow that as much, but explains the volume though, that 2.1 million
If
for
they can get
sure.
it a
Yeah,
little bit higher too, and Jared again, really, if y'all have the opportunity to listen, Jared talk about how gamma and these other options catalysts, once Mara with the high short float gets to a certain area, it'll start executing at a way that basically just forces these options market makers to rate to start filling orders, and it allows the stock just to explode, which is, if you guys can remember GameStop and what
yeah,
was it, Bed Bath and Beyond, I think, or one of those that just like went nuts for a few days and then came back home. It was like a rocket, and then it just came back down in a parachute and landed back where it was before. But I mean, it's just wild how these things can happen. So that's Mara. People are thinking maybe it can do that. I don't
yeah.
know.
We'll see, man. I have it as a possible. I mean, the volume is interesting for sure. Let's see if anything
It's
can
an
come
$8
out of that.
stock. You could throw a couple $100 into it and just tuck it away and see if something happens.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the lower price ones, but and especially this one, man. But we will see.
I
Cool.
probably wouldn't play it intraday.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna skip right. I'm gonna skip coin. We kind of talked about that a little bit. CRBP. This is a pharmaceutical company that had an incredible day yesterday, from $3 all the way to 5.75. They're kind of continuing this move. They're up 6% today, so maybe they got some news that might be worth putting on our risky pile. They are low float, 4.1 million shares float.
Hmm.
So maybe
I
we'll
don't
do
see any
that. Yeah,
specific. I'm looking at newses right now. The only thing I have is from the second, and that doesn't really seem to be very relevant. So I'm
yeah.
looking. It's a pharma stock, so they must have
Yeah, you gotta be
came
careful,
out with something.
and you need volume. Like I just noticed the volume is not there right now, so we'll come back to that. Here's Baidu. Man, Baidu had an incredible day yesterday. Gap down here, and obviously an overreaction, and just shot up and just crushed it. They're gapping up again, 4.1 this morning with not a whole lot of volume, and that's okay. This is typical Baidu type pre-market action. You could still have a decent day. I haven't traded Baidu in a while. Usually when they're in play, Baba is usually the case, but I know they had their own individual thing yesterday. So you see Baba here didn't really move as much because again we're not gapping down huge like Baidu did. So I think they'll be
Baidu
interesting
is
again
actually
today.
one that I find a little bit interesting, Carlos,
Yeah.
because Baidu's got some news that's been coming out that's kind of interesting. For instance, they got permitted in Beijing to operate robo taxis with no human traffic inside.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually got their permit approved for that. So that's pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah.
if you feel okay about robo taxis driving around you, but so we'll see how that goes. So and then they've also last launched this like Chat GPT like Ernie bot thing, which has been described as having some issues, but there's stuff going on with them that there might be people starting to look at Baidu and saying might maybe that the with that being said, their order book looks quite bullish right now. So people are thinking it's worth selling higher. So we'll see what happens. What could possibly go wrong, Miles? Hey, Carlos, I think you're muted, buddy.
Oh,
Or I
sorry
just
about
lost
that. Yep, no, I'm
you. Okay.
here. I'm here. So here's a WBD guys. I was looking at Warner Brothers, and these guys, they're moving. They're move well yesterday. They normally don't have days like this. Again, a little bit lighter volume. Not seeing a whole lot right now, but that doesn't mean much because if you look at yesterday's pre-market activity, these are the type of ticker that doesn't get great volume and can still give you a day like it did yesterday. Now, again, this is not normal trading for Warner Brothers. We don't usually have these guys on our list. I'm surprised they're even getting above the 50 cents ATR here for our gappers list. So, not sure, man. I maybe a possible, maybe today could be their shining day, but for the most part, I
Mhm.
think there'll be better stocks on here. Um, let's take a look at Last one on the gap up list, Billy. And Billy this morning, no, had a good day yesterday. They're up 2.6. Again, very light volume right now. This can change. So let's see. Let's put it as a possible. We'll come back to it. We just need to give it more
Yeah,
time,
with the
guys.
Warner Brothers, it took me a second to pull that. They've got some upgrade stuff going on, and
Yeah.
their analysts have moved it to a strong buy. So there's people are just kind of thinking. I guess they had a couple of really large buyers come in, and so they're saying that, they got some new bulls basically. So that came in there and done that. The thing I think is interesting for Warner Brothers and YouTube, I'm going to be looking at like Google is. I don't know if you guys heard Google is raising their subscription prices. So
Mm-hmm.
for YouTube TV, that's getting raised like $10 a month or something per user for their premium TV service.
For this
So
for YouTube
whenever that
or
stuff
for
happens
YouTube?
for YouTube,
Oh
like
wow,
YouTube
yes, it's,
Live,
yeah, it's a big
it's a
increase,
chunk. I mean,
$10.
it's a
Yeah,
chunk.
yeah,
You're talking, going from, if you're already paying 70, you're talking going to 80. I mean, that's a marginal increase for sure. But what that often does is that trickles into the other sectors because people basically start thinking, well, if they're raising their prices, then this one's going to raise this. This is going to raise this. It'll be interesting to see how everyone reacts if for instance Netflix or Disney, if any of these companies react to that, and that could be another thing that's helping WBD here gain a little bit of attention.
yeah, yeah. Um, let's see. That could be some good news for them. Obviously they're popping up with 3% this morning. Let's see what happens. Again, great day yesterday. I just don't know how this price actually traded. So we will have to wait a little bit more to see if we even get the volume in this pre-market. It might not stay there. Might drop that off. All right, let's see. Gapping down, guys. We got some of the banks on here. FRC leading the way. Now they're down almost 21% here. So again, it's just been all over the place. Had a decent day yesterday, back down this morning. I still think it's coming down a little bit now as far as the volatility and how crazy it is, right? Things are a little more stable. I still don't see as a great trader for the way I trade. I think it's difficult to manage your risk on a stock that's moving like this one. So just be mindful of that if you're going to be trading this one. But it is in play. I think it does belong in our risky pile over here. 10 million shares traded right now, so the volume is there. So yeah, I think it's worth taking a look at that. And then you have some other ones, PACW, and you also have WAL. Either one of these you can watch, but I think the big one with the most volume that's significant is FRC. What's this here? SRPT. Ooh, SRPT taking a bloodbath yesterday here. Must be some news. What happened with these guys yesterday? SRPT. Let's take a look here. They are getting
That's
slammed.
Sarepta
Yeah,
Therapeutics.
getting
So,
slammed this morning.
FDA contradicts company and requires an advisory meeting.
Mm.
So
That
that's
is
not
not
good.
good. That is definitely not good. The issue with this one's going to be getting the volume, right? Even with this huge gap down, can they get the volume? I mean, on their best day where they gapped up here, huge, right? They went from 122 to 145. They had 7.1 million shares traded for the whole entire day. And the issue, guys, if you're wondering if you're new, why is that important? Is because that just means you're not gonna get that great price action. You're not gonna get a great level two. The spread might be like it is right now, about 40 cents, maybe 50 cents, right? So there's a lot of things that don't look great for the way we trade when you have this light volume, especially on a stock that's $145, right? So that's the issue for me on this one.
Yeah, I mean, order book is very, very not well structured and runs anywhere between a 40 cent and a $1.50 spread, depending where you're at. So, as a day trading vehicle, especially, SRPT would make me quite nervous.
Yeah, yeah. Um, So yeah, so we'll keep that off the list for now. I definitely don't like the way it's moving. THMO this morning. This has been making some noise the last 3 days, right? We've seen a huge increase in volume. Still does not trade very well. So I still, I stay away from this stuff. Looks like it might have got halted there, but just all over the place. So lower price stock too. So for me, this will be a no-no for now. Look at the float, by the way. The float is 764,000. So very, very risky if you're going to be trading this. Just be mindful of your share size. Let's take a look over at PACW. PACW. So PACW is oh, this is the bank, another one of the banks here. PACW, and also I keep thinking this is Walmart because that used to be the code from our previous company when we dealt with them. That used to be the code. So I'm always saying Walmart. No, 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 not Walmart. Something else.
Mm-hmm.
Western Alliance. So another bank there. Again, FRC is the one that's got going on this morning. Oh, look at Bank of America showing face
Yeah, I mean,
today.
and why not like WAB? It's Western Alliance Bank Corp.
Yeah,
So why
yeah,
WAL? I think they
probably was taken.
intentionally did that just to make it difficult for you to remember
Yeah,
if it's
or
them or Walmart.
maybe this guy's Westinghouse had it first. Who knows? But
Probably.
looking at the big boys now, Bank of America, J.P. Morgan, and Citigroup and West Fargo. These guys are down today. I see Bank of America down 1.8 this morning. This is a good pre-market activity. I think if you want to trade banking, you could look at the ETF or you could look at the big guys because they've definitely been very, very volatile. Look at the last couple of days here. Their volume has been really, really nice. So I guarantee you that these are not going to get halted or have some crazy stuff like you're going to see on the other smaller banks, like you saw on FRC or like you saw on SI, whatever the name was. So just if you want to get some of that action, these are some good options to do that. Let's see which looks the best today. West Fargo, I tend to like them. Not a whole lot of volume. Bank of America seems to be the one with the nice pre-market action and good volume this morning. So
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean,
them. Yeah.
BAC is just in a fantastic place for a buy.
Yeah.
I'm not
Right.
saying it's a
Yeah.
buy.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying it's in a fantastic place for a buy. And our volume, if you're looking at
Yeah.
like the volume by price, the volume at this level is getting quite substantial. So I would actually argue someone is buying here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just, is this as low as it goes? That's that information I don't have. But if you look at your volume chart at the bottom on your daily chart, look how the volume
It's
like
crazy. Yeah.
noticeably stands out comparative to the rest of the volume prior to that. I mean, something's going on here on this ticker. It's a great spot to buy in. It's the lowest price this thing's been forever. This thing is government backed. It's not going anywhere. It offers a dividend. I mean, this has got all the things that someone would be looking to get into. So this could be we could be getting kind of climactic here. For those of you who novelists like Anna Cooling, who talks about buying climaxes and selling climaxes, this is starting to have kind of that kind of a feel to it. So let's keep an eye on that. Last time we made new highs from this kind of a region, we immediately went on a rally that in 2 months went from here to $39. Right. So this could be a great spot. So not saying it is along today, but I'm just saying I'd watch it. If the market goes
You'll
hot
watch it
and
closely.
banks start to go, this
Yeah.
would be one I would be paying attention to.
Yeah. Unless Jay Powell next week says, "Hold my mic," and he does something outrageous.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. We'll see what happens next week. It's going to be a lot of fun with the FOMC
The timing is
meeting.
going to be the thing on it. I mean, when it goes,
Perfect
it's going to
timing.
go, and we
Yeah.
got to be
Yeah.
ready for it. But the timing will be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, Vic. At least my mouth's not open.
Let's yeah, Thor's camera's frozen there. We'll try to fix that as we go through here. All right, what else we have? So that's Bank of America. I do like them this morning, looking pretty good on our main list today. And we are all set as far as our gappers list. Thor, anything you like this morning?
All right, so I got one that I really like today, and it's AMD.
Mm,
Ross
mm,
D actually just mentioned it, but I
yeah,
really like AMD. It had an incredible run yesterday. Finally completed its breakout, and it ran right to the bottom of a range from what is this August of last year. Smacked right into the bottom of it and stopped with big volume yesterday. So today I'm trying this it's a lot of movement to the top side. So I'm kind of thinking if we have a weaker day today by chance, this one could be a nice one to watch to see if we give a little bit back. I don't be hard to play it long from here, but hey, who knows? I mean, this thing's been lit up, and then of course I expect I actually like BAC and some of these the bank stocks. I think they've got some potential for some movement And then, I'm probably just going to be keeping an eye on the market itself. Right now, the market's in play. So the market is what I want to play. So I'm
Yeah.
looking to see if, we've had a really nice solid accumulation, especially in futures over the past few days. So if we can make some new highs, we can start getting our move on. We bumped right into 4,000 yesterday, and then got kind of smacked out of it for a little bit. So we'll see what happens if we can regain and get above 4,000. If so, we could get ourselves we could close out this week nicely.
Yeah, yeah, should be interesting today, man, and going into next week as well. I mean, market is really active right now. We're down slightly, almost 1%. Um, let's see how we end. I'm curious to see how we're going to end this Friday going into this the weekend. So it should be very interesting day today. Has been all week, but today especially. All right, let's
Hmm.
take it to the room, guys. Start on both sides here and see what we got going on. Starting with our chat, FedEx, of course, earnings last night. Was it earnings or they reported something? Yeah, earnings. Yeah, well, there we go. They crushed
Hmm.
it. I mean, they're doing very well. They're up 11.2 here. I mean, just a massive pop yesterday for these guys. They're not the best intraday trading stock, but when they do moves like this, you can get some movement out of this. You don't get you're not gonna get a huge volume spike on it. So you gotta make room for the spread. You gotta have a wide stop and these things can move $5 very very easy. So you don't need to take a boatload of shares on this thing. So yeah, I think they're in play today. It all depends how great the price action is going to be. The fact that they're gapped up so much, though, you know how I feel about stocks that do this. The minute they have some kind of weakness and they start losing some of these lows over here, I really like them for a short because I think people start panicking and think it's going to go back to 210. And if you hear from 195, you want to put some money in your pocket, right? So you're going to sell. So I like if that happens. If it goes, it can go towards the high, above the high of the day. If it rips higher, it could be a good play too. But I think the short of this, right, to try to close this gap is usually a better opportunity. Again, it's just my experience when I
I'm with
like,
you there too,
yeah,
Carlos, on FedEx. The thing with FedEx too is FedEx likes to do its moving after hours.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we've had our big gap, we've had our big move, and this is
yeah,
one of those ones where often, not always, but often, what will happen is you'll open and it'll basically do nothing.
yeah,
It'll
yeah. We've
draw
seen
down
that many
maybe a
times.
couple of dollars, but with its spread, that's not really like worth it. You know what I mean? So you end up kind of watching this ticker and becoming liquidity tied on it, and because you're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
sitting there waiting to do something with it, and it ends up not really doing anything because it really kind of already made its move.
yeah,
Now it
yeah,
can fill this gap, but even if it filled its gap, that would only be a $6 move. You know what I mean? With a stock that's running, what is our spread on this thing? Almost, 65 cents to a dollar. That means if you catch the exact bottom and you get to the exact top, you'd only be looking like maybe 5R potential, right?
hmm
Yeah, that's I like to know, I can get 5R, 6R while I get to the middle. You know what I mean? So I
yeah,
got a
yeah,
chance
yeah,
on this thing.
yeah,
So for me, it just feels like you'll end up getting chopped out a lot. So
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
uh we'll keep always good to keep an eye on these. I mean, it's obviously got a catalyst and it's got to move, but FDX for me is always such a pain to trade.
It's a tough trader. It really is, and then part of that is, well, a big chunk of that's because they don't get volume. Like, look at this, guys. Yesterday, 5.3 going into earnings, but before that, it's 2 million share stock, right? On average, looks like so. All right, what else do we have, guys? I see Meta. So let's take a look at Meta and Nvidia and some other ones on here. Meta this morning. Meta is down 2%, 339. They had a big day the last couple of days, so that's good. AMD, same thing, big day, but they're not gapping down. They're looking pretty decent this morning. As far as for our list today, yeah, I'm interested in this pre-market activity right now. So this could be a good one. I'm not sure if we're gonna stay on the main list. I'm on the fence on that right now. We can come back to that. I see Nvidia on both sides of the field. We'll take a look at that, and Microsoft as well. Nvidia here this morning. Nvidia looks good. But you could either watch Nvidia or AMD. They both been actually trading really, really nice. You can't go wrong with either one of these at this point. So whatever you like on here, you can watch. I'm gonna stick with AMD. It's got nice volume. Nvidia's it's right there as well. But I feel like AMD's maybe just slightly better. But yeah, Ben E, they're both really, really good. You just can't go wrong. Pedro, so Nugget, this is a ETF, which I usually don't watch on my list, right? In the chat room, we'll be calling it out if we see something great on it. And I don't usually trade these type of ETFs, especially with how light the volume is. I think there's better ones if you want to trade this sector, but for the most part, not one that I will have on my list as far as like day trading. Now I seen some really good swing tradings from Brian on this thing. He loves trading this. I haven't seen him trade it in a while, but I know there was a time where he used to trade this quite a bit. Meta is good. We have that HUBC. What is that? HUBC. What is this? Ooh, no, 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 no. Hub Cybersecurity.
Hub cybersecurity.
Yeah, they got volume. Recent IPO looks like just opened up, 17 days ago on the
Best penny
first.
stocks to buy now. 3 to watch before next week.
Yeah.
There you
Um,
go.
hey, at least it hasn't collapsed to zero, right? Because we see this stuff
Oh, I
open
see
up
it.
and
They had
just
some like investor news come in
yeah,
like a few couple of days ago, and that kind of got them going a little bit.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, you have to know how to play these, right? You got to be very careful. I, I I personally, my strategies don't work very well on these type of tickers. I don't have a whole lot of information on them just yet, and it could be so wild. But keep your eyes on the news because to see how this is going to trade. So, it's got the volume this morning, 4.4 million, and if that news is going to be big for today, it can actually go. This can actually be what is the float on this, by the way? We might not have it yet. It might be so new. Yeah, we don't have a
Yeah,
float yet. Yeah, yep. So I don't have it here just yet. Maybe,
26 that's
yeah.
26.7
It's not too bad. Not
million.
too bad. Yeah, it's not too bad. We'll put it here. Let's see. Maybe we can see something great out of it. The volume looks really good right now. I'll put on my risky power, which I have three already on here. FRC, CRBP. I'm gonna remove this. It doesn't have volume. It's not worth having on the list. These two do have volume, and then, again, one is gapping up 30%, the other one's gapping down 22%. So both of them with some interesting stuff. We looked at Mara, Mary. I like Coin. Either one is great. But I think Coin just tends to trade a little bit better. Now, the only thing that Mara's got going on for them that's slightly better is their volume at 2.4 million. But I think even with that, I think Coin, even at 667,000, might still give you a cleaner price action. Again, this is just my take from watching Mara so long be so disappointing to trade. I'm giving my benefit to Coin, but either one, I think you can watch today. They're both really in play. Ben, Microsoft, and a couple of you also throwing out Microsoft today. Very similar to what's happening with AMD, with Meta, with Meta's capping down today, but for the last couple of days, and also where's Nvidia? Nvidia's good. I should have Nvidia here as well. I thought I put that on the list. And Nvidia. So I think that AMD and Nvidia trade slightly better than Microsoft, but the last couple of days they all been right there hand in hand. So you could watch either one that you like, Ben. Ben, it's Microsoft is looking good. It's looking good. Big day yesterday, like the rest of the tech companies. Again, just the overall cues have just been these tech companies have been ripping, man. They've been doing so well. So we'll
Yeah,
see
one
how they
more
end today.
tech I want to toss on there
Yeah.
just for the fun today is actually Apple.
What's
So,
Apple up to?
tech has been ripping, but one thing I've noticed about Apple is that line at the top there, that's R4 for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my breakout line. If it goes above that, we break out. If it stays under it, we don't. And it just so happens we have topping tails and wicks every time we've gone into that. Yesterday with the hard tech run, smacked right back into that level. Today, still holding under it. It's a really interesting level to watch. If the market goes strong and Apple gets above that level, I mean, if you zoom out on your daily chart, like and include like up to like September or October, if
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, look.
Yeah. It loves this right here. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
so it's a
Yeah.
really cool spot on the daily that I want to pay attention to. So I'm going to add Apple on for that because I think if we can get north of that, things start to look really interesting, and if we can't, things also could look really interesting.
Yeah. It's a rejection. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
like having such an obvious point in which to watch. I think that's a killer level. So I'm gonna be paying attention to that.
Very nice, man. Love it, love it. That looks great. What else, guys? What else do you guys have? Looks like we're all set right now. So we have a very interesting list: Coin, Bank of America, AMD, FedEx. And FedEx is really more. Actually, FedEx is more of a possible, guys, because I think we really need to see some action at the market open. If we don't, then it's just, if it goes sideways or you just don't get the volume, it might not be worth being on our list. Let's look at same thing with Nicholas Riot. Same thing. We have Mara. I think Riot out of all of them, by the way, I think Riot is the worst one for these Bitcoin type plays, right? So I think they trade the worst out of Mara and Coin. I will personally go with Coin or Mara in that order. But Riot, I usually never trade Riot. It was fun a few years ago when everything was in play, but not anymore, right? So that's just my take on that. Let's look at Oxy. Oxy, by the way, yeah, Oxy's good, man. Oxy's very, very active. Had a good day yesterday. Today already pre-market is looking very nice. This is a very nice pre-market activity for Oxy. Normally they
So
don't look
Oxy
like
was the
that.
one I was talking
Yeah,
about earlier. We were talking about this like yesterday and the day before about watching these because they were in such a good position.
yeah,
And so now the articles running today are Berkshire Hathaway adds in that article Warren Buffett just can't seem to get enough of this oil stock because Buffett's adding into his position. So I mean, or Berkshire Hathaway, same diff, right? So
yeah,
you're really starting to see that going on. So you know,
yeah.
you heard it here, people.
There you go. All right, let's do two more here. Let's look at wow, we haven't talked about Tesla. See, we're look how quickly we drop them off and they don't treat us well. So
No, dude,
here's
yeah, I mean, it's like
quickly it's
seriously,
just
if you
like
don't do what we like, you're gone.
chop liver here. So here's Tesla. And yeah, I mean they got the volume again. Notice again how we are getting lower and lower in the pre-market, right? So yes, it was like 2, now it's like 1.5. So that 3 million, 4 million, 5 million day pre-market is definitely not the same. Still great volume, still beautiful pre-market activity, still a nice range, 185 all the way down to 183. Not taking away from it, but just kind of noticing that difference because we've been watching this stock for so long. I think it still deserves to be in play, but you have
Hmm.
to be careful. This is not the same Tesla that we've been trading in the last couple of weeks, where it's just you wait a couple of minutes, it picks a direction and it goes, right? We haven't seen that lately, not until later parts of the day. And the afternoon has been good, has been really good. So if you're an afternoon trader, you can see Tesla and many other stocks kind of pick a direction. But that's a lot of times been driven because of this guy here. So when this guy's doing his thing, you can look at many other stuff that are going to be doing just that. So, all right,
Yeah,
guys.
and we got to play
Yeah,
playing contrarian on this one too. Yesterday we had a massive rally in the market. We had a massive rally on
yeah,
tech, which Tesla
yeah,
technically kind of. I know it's a car stock. It's kind of a tech stock.
yeah.
So I think a lot of car stocks actually rallied. Like I think Ford actually, not too much. So the sector didn't really rally too much, but Tesla, if it was like, I feel like yesterday could have been a big day for Tesla. Like lots
It
of things
should,
moved.
right, right.
So why didn't Tesla pick up the bid? If
It's
anything,
a great
Tesla's
point.
average volume, if you look at your daily chart, actually dropped yesterday.
Right,
So
right.
people seemed even less interested in it than usual yesterday, which was a strong day. Normally, people would have poured into Tesla
Yeah.
yesterday. So that actually makes me a little bit concerned on Tesla to the long side, in general. So although we are in what I would consider more of a buying range than a selling range, unfortunately, I might just have to stay out of Tesla for a little bit longer because I just don't know if I'm convinced about its intention at this time right now. It's been super choppy lately. Its candle size has gotten, we went from having $10, $15 days on it to now having $5 days. And it's,
Yeah.
kind of like what we're talking about FedEx. It's just not enough move on a stock that runs, at times a 10 cent or a 20 cent spread, to really get good risk management on it. So it makes it tricky and really easy to get chopped out of trades.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting, man. It's just very interesting because usually when you see AMD and these guys rip like this, Tesla's right behind there, and they did not do that. So very interesting. Last one here, XPEF. Speaking of cars, let's see what XPEF's got
Yeah.
going on. this morning, and they got 1.2. They got the volume, but they've been tough to trade, man, especially at these lower
They have
prices here.
something going on. I forget what it
Yeah,
was.
this volume looks like they might have something, but they're a tough trader.
Earnings
Uh,
were on the 13th.
yeah, so
Um, yeah, they were down on earnings,
they got a big range too this morning. If you look at their pre-market in the
but
past,
they had okay. So today they had a press conference basically,
okay,
and they were assuring that they're basically their investors that sales growth will resume, and their earnings were scheduled for the 13th, but they actually didn't come out till today. So
oh,
we actually
oh yeah, I remember
we
that.
just got
Yeah, yeah,
earnings
yeah,
news on them. So you are
yeah.
seeing some movement
Okay,
based upon that, but it's a really mixed bag. I really don't know what I would think to do this. That being
yeah,
said, the analyst recommendation overall on it is a strong buy. That and it being an $8 stock, it might not be the world's best day trading vehicle, but maybe has a potential in some other time frames, like a longer term
yeah,
time frame, no dividend. So
yeah.
whatever it is, you got to be thinking it's going to go there cash wise.
Yeah, so again, very active pre-market activity because you can see the range here. It's just how they're going to trade the market open. They have not been great as a day trading stock, man. They're not as bad as our good old buddy Neo, but they're right there. At least lately, they haven't been doing so hot. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take it over to our community events and announcement for coming up for next week, and then we'll come back and fine tune this list.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Well, I'm frozen, but that's me. I'm not at Peter. I'm at Thor Young. But what you gonna do? We got my man Carlos MBBT up there, and we are, as you know, you've been with us all week as we've been doing the pre-market show. Don't forget to follow us if you haven't at Bear Bull Traders on basically everything. Did a pretty good job of getting that. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Please, if you have a moment, pop over there and like it. Even if you're in the main chat room, it really helps us to trim these things out if we can get some likes. So I know it's a little bit of a bore, but even in the main chat room, if you don't mind popping over to the YouTube and throwing a couple of likes on it for me, so we can kind of push this out there and get more interactions, it really helps us out. So I'd appreciate that. That being said, for everybody out there in YouTube land, we have onboarding every single Monday here. For everyone in the chat room, guess what? That's also for you. Just because it's onboarding and it's on Monday doesn't mean it's for new members only. Anytime you need something, a little bit of help with your technology, my man Carlos is hanging out there ready to help you out. Sometimes we'll have Kyle in there. We'll have Mike pop in. Every now and again, we got cool stuff, but mostly my man Carlos is there to make sure you're well taken care of. On every Tuesday, we do our strategy and trade book webinars. This one coming up is going to be Trade Management Part 2, defining stop loss levels and how to avoid averaging down. I think this is going to be a really awesome presentation by the one, the only Dr. Andrew Aziz. You've read the book, now meet the man. So you're going to really enjoy that. It's going to be a good time. Last week was I actually did my webinar on trade evaluation. That is posted for all of our elite members to the webinar area already, so you can check that out there. On Wednesdays, we do psychology and psychology webinar. One of my favorite presenters, Dr. Ran Howe, is coming in. He's going to be presenting on your hidden beliefs about money sabotaging your trading mindset. I think it's going to be really, really cool to hear this presentation and really maybe unlock some of those hidden traps that are in there. Thursdays are mentorship days. So main blocks are 11 with John. John is a accomplished trader, also a coach and trainer at a PCT, a Peak Capital Trading. And so it's always really cool to have him in at 11 o'clock, and he helps everybody out and going through things. And then in the evening, a little bit lighter of a pace with the market being closed, I do a mentorship every single Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We have good tunes, we have good people, and we hang out and talk all things trading. It's a lot of fun. Today's pre-market show has been brought to you by tradingterminal.com. I like to call it the trader's tool belt. Basically, everything you could need as a starting trader, especially, is right here at your fingertips. From classes to insider news to trading calendars, scanners, uh, basically everything you can need is right here. Also, a free trading simulator. So if you're ready to start learning how to trade and putting into implement, but you don't want to take the plunge on signing up for an expensive data feed and a trading software, after you've learned everything, you can come right here. We also have signups in here, so you can get some emails from our own Eamon, who will help teach you some basic strategies through the system. Lots of really great stuff going on here. Give it a try. I think you'll love it. All right, everybody out there in YouTube Landia, we're hoping you enjoy the show. We'd like to show you why the chat room is so awesome. We truly believe it is the best, and we'd like to give you an opportunity to come and experience it. We'll let you do that for free. This free offer is limited. Okay, so this free thing, we're only going to be running it for a little bit longer, and then it's going to go back to the minimum fee sign up, whatever we decide to make it at that point. So if you really want to come in and try this chat room and see what's going on, stop waiting, get in here, hang out, and you know why you haven't come yet, because once you come, you're never going to leave. So you're like afraid to click the button. You should click the button. That'll get you in with my man Carlos. That'll get you some of our day trading and options courses for that time period, right? Once you're ready to go, we've got basic, elite, and elite annuals. Each one of those tier up a little bit bigger. Of course, elite annual being the best for your money, because that's your yearly subscription. It gets you everything we offer, including some psychology coaching, and it's also 50% off the total price. So come by, check us out, hang out. We appreciate it.
All right, Thor, excellent. Okay, let's get to it, guys. We get do some levels here. We have Coin, Bank of America, AMD, Meta, Oxy, and Tesla. And yeah, let's do some levels here. And we have our man Jay Powell there taking over for Thor's frozen camera at the moment. So high of the pre-market, let's start with Coin,
That's
72.58.
hilarious.
The low of the pre-market, 69.08. And then towards the bottom, guys, you got tons of levels. Do not need to add anything else. Let's look towards the top here, because this is looking very strong right now, and hopefully we can get something good out of Coin today. I think today might be the day. 73.91, and over here 76.01. I think that does some pretty good stuff for us there as far as levels go. So we'll see how that plays out. Here's Bank of America, which again has been very active, increase in volume in the last couple of days with all the stuff going on in the banking sector here. So love the pre-market for Bank of America, 28.30. I like them today because they got the best volume, and they actually got the cleanest pre-market activity today. So hopefully we can see something out of that. This could be a good play for us. 28.30. And then if you look at the bigger picture, you're surrounded by the highs and lows of the last two trading days. Do not need to add anything else. Let's look at our good buddy AMD. This thing has been just wild the last couple of days, alongside NVIDIA, Meta, and not quite Apple, but some other tech companies been doing very well too. 98, Microsoft is all I was thinking about. 98.47, high of the pre-market towards the bottom, previous day close, listed right on here for you. So you're set there. And then if we look to the left, let's get something, I mean, from 90 to 96, right? Let's get something in between here if we can. We probably haven't been here in a while, going back to September, October timeframe. We're going to zoom in here, and yeah, we got some good levels there at a 93.47. That is very, very good. 94.92, not as big as 93.47, but still decent. And then another one right on here over at 91. So that's towards the bottom. If we come back towards that big gap that we just had, and then above 98.47, in case we're going to have another monster day like yesterday, which I highly doubt, 100 is going to be your level, right? It's going to be even a psychological level.
Let's go, AMD to 100. Let's go.
that'd be great, man. That'd be great. Here is
I think Ravzilla is correct. I think it's only appropriate, since Peter's on vacation, that AMD
that's right,
goes on a full run from 85 to 100 while he's gone.
Look at that. So in this, yeah, you're right. It's been trading so well. Here's Meta, guys. I'm on the fence on this one, but I think it's worth watching. Let's see what it does. 203.50 high of the pre-market, the low sitting at a 200 exactly there. So you're pretty much set on Meta towards the bottom, highs and lows, towards the top, previous day close. Again, on the fence on this one. Let's see if this can get any better. Here's Oxy. Oxy has a great pre-market activity today, and you know we normally don't get that type of pre-market action from them. I think today could be a really good day for them. Low of the pre-market 58.16. The top is 59.97. Towards the top, I'm sorry, towards the bottom, highs and lows of the last two trading days. So you're pretty much set here. I am going to mark down 57.28 in case we do decide to drop. That could be the next area on the daily that you get some kind of support happening there. Last but not least, our good buddy Tesla, which hasn't been so great in the market open, but let's see if today they can get back into what they've been doing in the past. 1.8 million shares traded and climbing. Beautiful range in the pre-market. As far as levels towards the bottom from the pre-market highs, you're set. Everything is done there for you. Do not need to add anything else. But as far as the top side, we have 190. It's a good one there. This is a minor area. Don't put too much weight on this one. 187.71, worth noting there. But again, not a huge level. Just a couple of days on here. The big one is going to be 194.42. That is a really good level with tons of action happening there. Guys, that is our list. Let me bring over our moderators list, and then we'll hand it over to Andrew, who's back in the office from his 16 hours flight. So hopefully his legs are doing okay. And yeah, let's see what's happening here.
Arms are tired.
What was that?
I said, but his arms are tired.
Let's see if what we got going on here with our moderators list. And guys, thank you so much. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and the like button if you're enjoying the content. We appreciate it very much. It does help out the channel quite a ton. All right, so here it is. Moderators list. Thor, starting with your list. AMD, Bank of America, overall market. Also, you're adding Apple for fun, as he explained above that level. Here is Eamon looking at Apple for the break of the daily channel. As kind of what Thor explained to earlier, this looks good for a possible takeoff if it can get above that level. Susie will be looking at Apple and Nvidia and Meta. And Andrew, strong stock market today. We might have get a hangover of choppiness. I agree. We had such a big day yesterday. We might see some choppiness at the market open. But going into the weekend with the FOMC meeting next week, it's going to be a very interesting day. He's looking at IWM, the QQQs, SPY, and then also his list TNA, TQQQ, Apple, AMD, NVIDIA, and Tesla. So a lot of our usual suspects in that list. We'll see what kind of day we get today as we end this week. Guys, have an incredible weekend. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it very much. And we will see you guys on Monday. Take care. Trade safe.